Hi, welcome back to the Aquifer. I'm Ted Bennett. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take field performance testing information and put it into your pressure pipe, and in this case, PipeFLO model, to make your model represent actual field conditions. So this is the model we've been working with in this series of videos, kind of working with the same information. Here's the wet well. And we've got two pumps, a duplex submersible setup with one pump is pumping 393 gallons a minute at 77 feet of head through the common piping with the check valves and the plug valves, and joining the 1,500-foot PVC C900 force main and delivering all that flow up here to this manhole. We're omitting that section of pipe that we looked at in one of those previous videos. We'll say that was proposed, but this is the system that we went out into the field to do a performance test on. And just a quick refresher on our previous video on reading pump performance curves. This is the output that we got from PipeFLO. And basically you can watch that video and learn a little bit more about how to read a pump performance curve. But what we've got here is the pump performance curve here and our pump system curve here. And what I did is I went ahead and I took this data and I put it into Excel. Excel has a little bit easier tools for manipulating the second pump curve, at least right now, based on what I can tell in using PipeFLO. If anyone knows a better way to do what I'm showing here in PipeFLO, I'm certainly open to hearing from you, so please let me know. But basically you can see, pretty much just flipping back and forth, you can see that this is the same data. So I went ahead and I want to get that second pump performance curve in there, because I like to run both one pump as well as a two pump situation in the data to give us some more data and improve what we're trying to accomplish here. And you're going to say, well, how do I get a two pump performance curve when I only have one pump? Well, it's very simple. These pumps are operating in parallel, and what happens is basically you just double the flow for each head in order to generate the orange curve here. 250 becomes 500, 400 becomes 800, and there you go. You've got the shape of your two pump performance curve for a parallel situation. One thing to note is a lot of people are going to think, okay, well, I turn that second pump on, I'm going to double my flow. I'm going to go from 400 to 800. Well, it's not really the case. The pumps are sort of battling for position in that force main, and as you can see, it's just a little over 700 is what we're predicting that we would get with two pumps pumping. And so to demonstrate that, let's go back to PipeFLO, and we'll go ahead and turn the second pump on. And what you can see is we're getting 718 gallons a minute, like I said, just over 700 gallons a minute, with each pump delivering around 88 feet of head. And what's interesting, and you can see the flow is basically splitting equally because these are the same pumps. Now, if they weren't, you can see where one pump would take more flow. And what's kind of interesting is you can go ahead and plot this. So at 718, if you plotted back a perfectly straight line back to the blue line, you would predict that each pump was in fact pumping 360. And this is helpful when you don't have two equal pumps pumping in parallel. You can predict what each one is going to do. So for this sort of ideal situation of a C900 8-inch force main with the ID of 798 and a C factor of 130, this is what we should be getting. Well, so we went out and we did the field testing, and this is what we actually got. As you can see, the static doesn't really change. Usually we're pretty good at being able to get the static point. That's usually not the issue. Sometimes it can be. But in general, you'll find that we're down just a little bit here. This is typical. You'll find, well, maybe you're off the point a little bit. Sometimes it could be even greater. But for this particular situation, we're down a little from where the prediction and the equations say we're going to be. And we're down quite a bit on the two pump scenario. And so this is why I like to run the second pump, because this really helps to define the shape of this curve. And what we did in order to sort of make this theoretical curve match actual conditions is we went and we changed some of the force main parameters. We actually reduced the force main ID and the C factor. Some would say, well, you can do all this in the D. You could basically just say whatever the diameter is to make this work and leave the C factor unchanged. I like to go ahead and change the C factor a little bit. As you can see, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. All the work is being done in the diameter here. So just sort of a personal tip of my own is I go ahead and change both of these. And now, so what we've done is we've gone ahead and we have predicted a performance curve for the actual conditions. So what I want to do now is I want to show you how to do that in your model. So basically what we need to do is we need to go ahead and update this pipe here. We're going to make all of our changes in this pipe. So what you got to do is you got to go up here to the pipe specifications and you got to create a new one for the scenario that you're working with. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this and we're going to call this like Ted's custom C specification C900. I like to put my name in the beginning there. It makes it easier to track when you do this. So we're going to go ahead and make the C factor 110 and we'll go ahead and make the ID like 10%. Let's just see how that shakes out. So go ahead and say okay. Well, we got to change this here, and that's why I try to put my name in the beginning. It makes it easier to pull it off the list. So we go ahead and we put that in there. Looks like we're down to, let's just turn pump 2 off here and work off of just a 1 pump situation. Looks like we're at 375 gallons a minute, and we wanted to get to like 370. So we need to have just a little bit more restriction. You got to kind of do this in sort of reality. You're not going to get exact numbers. You're going to get close. So let's go ahead and pop this down to 15% reduction. Go ahead and run it. And now we're at 367 gallons a minute at 85 feet of head. Comparing with what we're supposed to get, that's pretty close. We're going to go ahead and accept it for what we're doing. And let's go ahead and run the 2 pump situation. Go ahead and turn the second pump off. And now we're getting 595 gallons a minute, with each pump delivering right around 300 gallons a minute at 104 feet of head. And so kind of plotting that back, 595 at 104, very close, going to accept it. And so what you can see is now we've got our model to represent actual field conditions. So let's say we were going to go ahead and do some work with these pumps in here. Now we've got information in real life that matches what our model says, and we can basically do a lot of good predictions for future scenarios based on knowing what's actually there. I generally try to do this on anything that I'm designing where the client's going to try to reuse the force main. So you're going to go back to your client, you're going to say, well guys, we got a 15% reduction on the ID. And you can do some calculations of energy. You can decide if it's worth it to replace it. Do you want to try to clean it out or pig it? There's a variety of things you could do. You could say, well, we're going to live with it. All those are valid options. So I hope you found this interesting. I really enjoy doing the performance testing. It makes me feel like a detective or something. So again, I thank you for watching this video, and I appreciate all of your support and the folks who watch and like these videos. So feel free, subscribe to the Aquifer, or go ahead and follow me on the other social media platforms listed here. And as always, have a great day.